Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters. I'm your host Mitch, glad to have you here. Here at the Commander's Quarters, we build fun and inexpensive focused Commander decks. But today's episode is going to be a Commander quick take. On episodes like these, I give you my initial take on a newly spoiled Commander from an upcoming set. I'm going to talk about a potential direction for that Commander and possible cards that you can use for that build. In this show and episodes like this are possible because of viewers like you. So make sure that you like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends. And while you're at it, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any episodes. You can also support this show directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without their support. Another way that you can support the show is by checking out our merchandise on thecommandersquarters.com. And finally, you can support this show by supporting our sponsor, TCG Player. So whenever you're buying a deck or just individual cards, make sure you use our links below. But before we really jump into this, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. On episodes like these, they are just initial quick takes. This Commander is just as new to me as it is to you. And because of that, I don't have a finalized deck build for this Commander yet. So the direction that I choose to take this Commander today might not be the same one that I do in a deck tech. And because of that, some of the cards I'm going to mention might not be in that deck either. Alright, now that we're on the same page, let's get into it. So today's Commander Quick Take is going to be on Urza Lord High Artificer. It's a 1/4 human artificer for 2 blue. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. It also has tap and untap artifact you control, add blue. And pay 5, shuffle your library, then exile the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. At first glance, Urza looks to be an insanely powerful commander. He can create giant tokens, gives you a ton of mana, and acts as a huge mana sink. Blue is definitely a great color for artifacts and allows us to abuse his effects in a lot of ways. My first thought is to create a deck that's centered around flooding the board with artifacts. So not only would the deck run a ton of artifacts, but it would also run things that create artifacts too. A card like Genesis Chamber is going to give you a mirror token every single time a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control. And Urza completely negates the downside of Genesis Chamber since we can tap it. And then Psi and Efficient Construction give us a Thopter every single time we cast an artifact. With Urza in play, these cards are essentially mana rock generators. If they can stick around, things can get out of hand very quickly. Another way to create more artifact tokens is with Urza himself. So we're going to be running cards like Essence Flux and Voyager Staff, which blink Urza to get us more constructs. Those constructs are definitely no joke, and they can get huge very quickly with this stack. And we're also going to be running an artifact like Aether Spellbomb, which can bring Urza back to our hand. And we can even tap a few artifacts before we do that to have the mana ready to recast him. I have a feeling that Commander players are going to quickly realize exactly how powerful Urza is. Because of that, he's probably going to be a kill on-site commander, so things like these can come in huge at protecting him too. We're also going to be running some artifacts in this deck that really take advantage of Urza turning all of our artifacts into mana rocks. Batter Golem's going to untap whenever an artifact comes into play. And then Traxos untaps whenever we cast a historic spell, which counts artifacts. These are both fantastic cards and can generate a ton of mana by themselves in this deck. But on the other end, we can also run a card like Storage Matrix. It says as long as Storage Matrix is untapped, each player chooses artifact, creature, or land during their untapped step. That player can untap only permanents of the chosen type this step. This can really shut down our opponents while not affecting us at all. We're also going to be running some ways to generate an absurd amount of mana in one turn. Dramatic Reversal is going to untap all non-land permanents we control. At just 2 mana, this effect is absolutely incredible for this deck. Then Blinkmoth Infusion might just cost us 2 mana as well. It says untap all artifacts and it has affinity for artifacts. And Blinkmoth Urn can generate a ton of mana on each of our turns. It says at the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, if Blinkmoth Urn is untapped, that player adds colors for each artifact they control. And again, since we can tap it, our opponents aren't going to get any value out of this. And with Urza in play, we're always going to have a place to put this mana. And then some cards that are going to be very powerful for this deck, but probably are just out of budget are Unwinding Clock, Deadeye Navigator, and Winter Orb. Unwinding Clock is going to give us a ton of mana on all of our opponent's turns. And again, we can use Urza as a mana sink, so we'll always have a place for that mana. By pairing Deadeye Navigator with Urza, we can create a ton of constructs. And although this ability costs 2, it essentially is only going to cost us 1 since those constructs can tap when they come into play. And finally, Winter Orb can be absolutely devastating with Urza. It essentially doesn't affect us at all, and it's going to really set back our opponents. Urza is definitely one of the most powerful commanders I've seen printed in a while. I definitely can't wait to build a full deck around him. But I really want to hear your thoughts on this take, so why don't you let me know in the comments below. And make sure that you're following us on social media for more updates and sneak peeks on future episodes. Links to our social media accounts can be found in the description. Also in the description below is a link to the Commander's Quarters Patreon page, and I just want to say a quick thank you to the patrons who have subscribed so far. There are many benefits to being a patron for the Commander's Quarters, including being able to vote on future commanders for deck techs. There's even a general level tier where you get your own personalized deck tech dedicated to you. I truly couldn't do this without all of your support, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, check out some of our other episodes on budget deck techs, Quest for Quarters episodes, Commander topics, and Creators Quarters. And with that, I'm out of here. Thanks again, and have a good one.